Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Behalf of God, the merciful, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to thank you for having agreed to the request to hold a 10th emergency session of the General Assembly concerning the issue of Palestine. We support the statement made by the representative of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan on behalf of the Arab Group and Mauritania on behalf of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation. Mr. President, the catastrophic situation of the Palestinian people due to the military actions and the barbaric crimes committed by the occupation forces, and in view of the blockade and the lack of provision of basic necessities, and blockade forces us, members of the United Nations, in conformity with the purposes and principles of the Charter, to fulfill our collective responsibility to put an end to the crimes, massacres, and continued destruction of residential neighborhoods with their residents and infrastructure and services. After all these crimes, how can you explain the silence? How can you interpret the failure to take any binding measures to stop these crimes? What can we say about the continuation of massacres and genocide by the occupation forces without any kind of deterrence? Is that an encouragement for the Israeli occupation forces to continue with these crimes under the false pretext? Mr. President, we are witnessing a historic turning point within the United Nations, which was created to build and achieve international peace and security. Indeed, the Security Council for the past 3 weeks has failed to fulfill its legal responsibility and to adopt necessary measures to maintain international peace and security and to protect civilians and to stop the bloodletting, that is, by stopping military activity, or to open border crossing points to ensure the delivery of humanitarian assistance. We note with regret that the organization is incapable of upholding its principles. For decades, this organization has not been able to resolve the Palestinian issue. Mr. President, this extraordinary session is taking place due to the continuation of Israeli attacks for the past 3 weeks against the Palestinian people, brethren people, in particular in the Gaza Strip. This is a systematic genocide and the imposition of a blockade and forced expulsion. These are crimes that continue, a litany of crimes for the past 70 years in front of the very eyes of the international community and the Security Council. This is a flagrant violation of international law and international humanitarian law, of the Charter, and of international treaties. Today, as the diplomatic process underway in the Security Council has confirmed that this council is not in a position to fulfill its moral, legal, and humanitarian responsibilities with regard to maintaining international peace and security, and put an end to these barbaric actions and violations against the Palestinian Palestinian people. We find ourselves in the midst of a diplomatic process of the international community that we represent here at this emergency session. We're far from this being selective as far as humanitarian issues and issues of destiny. We must force the occupation forces we must impose a ceasefire, open crossing points, and ensure the delivery of assistance, and completely lift the blockade, stop expulsions, and ensure exchange of prisoners, and ensure the reconstruction following the destruction that has been caused by the occupying forces. This is the tribune to which oppressed people turn to, and we have a collective responsibility to free them from this injustice and grant them the right to life. Many of the images that we're seeing are horrific. Innocent people, women, and children. These images will remain etched in our memories, as will the position of the Security Council in the history of this organization. Lastly, we would like to reiterate our support for the Palestinian people to fulfill their aspirations and legitimate rights that are inviolable, including their right to self-determination, right to return, and the creation of their state on Palestine with Jerusalem as capital. Thank you.
This has been the Nod News Network. Transmission complete.